Okay, everyone. I think we are ready to get started. Thanks to all who are tuning in. My name is Adrian. Today I'll be doing a quick session on how to use the new file upload functionality on our quizzes in Cademy to do assessments where your learners are submitting evidence and other types of files as part of their learning and as part of their assessments. There's a lot to go through, and if you don't use Cademy yet, that is absolutely fine. I'll get started from the very basics and show you how to set up a basic course, set up a quiz, and do the very rudimentary stuff first. And then anyone who, whether is a Cademy expert or brand new to the platform, will be able to follow along. And then I'll get actually into how you can use the new functionality that we've just released last week, which is the ability to allow students to submit files as part of their quizzes and assessments in Cademy, and then review those submissions manually, support the facilitators handling those submissions and giving feedback to learners and navigating that whole process start to finish. And I'll show you what the journey is like and how you can use that for your own courses as well. Okay. So without further ado, if you have questions, you can always put them in the FAQ box or in the comment box and the Zoom if you're watching this on Zoom. I'm also using a new tool that I've not used before to stream this across on some of our social platforms. So if you're watching there, feel free to comment on those, and I'll try and keep an eye on the chat there as well. But by all means, if I can't handle all the questions, then I'll be looking through those and responding to people after the event is over as well. So just quick introduction. My name is Adrian. I'm one of the founders here at Cademy, and I'm one of the people that have helped build the product, but also I'm one of the ones that is out there trying to teach our lovely users how to best make use of it. So if you ever have feedback or questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. My email is at adrian@cademy.io, and you can also message us through the live chat. I always keep an eye on those. But with that out of the way, keep in mind that the session is being recorded. So if you don't want your comments or questions or anything else to show up, just have that in mind. And with all the housework out of the way, let's get right in and show you how you could use quizzes in Cademy to their fullest potential. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen and we can dive right in. Now, if you do not have a Cademy account just yet, I recommend that you go and set one up. You can do that on our website, cademy.io, and you can create an account as a course provider or an educator, essentially on our platform. You land in a dashboard that looks a bit like this. And from here, you'll be able to set everything up. And in this particular session, we'll look at how you do courses with quizzes and how you take them to the max. So I'm going to create a brand new course so that anyone who's not had a chance to use Cademy yet could get a sense of how to set everything up from scratch. Now, when I create a brand new course, I first pick the keyword, course is fine, and then this is the important part, the format. Quizzes and assessments are only supported on-demand and blended courses. You can't do a quiz or an assessment on a course with this people book, kind of a workshop or webinar. That's not something that comes up quite frequently. But if you do have a course with dates that you want to do quizzes on, you can set it up as a blended course and then it'll work. But for this particular example, I'll just set up a basic online e-learning course, and I'll choose the third option from the top. I'll call this course example course with a quiz. And I could add in some media, I could add in some text to make my course more attractive, but this is not what this session is about. I'll leave all these options as plain as they can be, and I'll focus on the quiz functionality. So I'll go into step number 2, which is contents. I'll create a lesson, welcome to the course. I'll put in a text and maybe a video block, maybe a video above the text. You can create these engaging lessons with a mix of different media directly on the platform here, or you can create your videos and courses externally. For example, you can create and upload your videos on YouTube and embed them here, or create courses that are a lot more engaging and interactive on platforms like Rise 360 and export them as SCORM files and import them here. But for this purpose, we're trying to just make it as simple as possible for anyone to go and create a course and with lessons on them with all the content. This is an example lesson. I'm going to add in another one and I'll say test your knowledge. And on this one, I'll add in a quiz, right? Now, I will go in and focus not just on the new option that we've added around media uploads, but just show you generally how quizzes work in Cademy. First of all, you can set up the quiz block amongst other blocks on the lesson. In this case, just to keep things simple and clean, I've set them up and set up a quiz in a dedicated lesson, but you can easily mix and match and put them alongside other blocks. So for example, I could have just put in a text block and say, provide more context for what I want the students to do, and say in this section, we'll want to test your knowledge around the material we covered so far. And then I could say, please use the reference materials attached below and provide your own answers in the same format. And I'll add in an attachments block in the middle here. I can maybe upload some files that I want people to see and use as reference. Just put them in here. My learners will be able to download them onto their own machine and maybe make some edits and re-upload them back. And now it comes to the actual quiz. So the quiz itself is pretty flexible. When I add in a new question, I have a variety of different formats. For example, multiple choice is the most common one. You can add in different answers for the student to pick from. So A, B, C, D. I could say, what's the fourth letter in the English alphabet? And I'll just put in D and I'll mark this as the correct answer. I can add in another question and maybe make it a short answer, and I'll call it, what's the best course management platform on the planet? And the correct answer is Cademy. And the part that we want to actually focus on today is going to be the file upload option. This is brand new, although people have been asking for this for a very long time, and we're very excited to finally bring it here. So as I add this option, you will see that I get a few prompts. I'll get to that in a second. But I want to pose the question for the student, for the learner. So I'm going to say, please upload your evidence, as requested above. And I have a few settings for all of these blocks, but we're going to focus on the ones for the quiz, for the file upload. So if I click on the settings cog for this question, you could see that I could provide additional instructions. Please upload PDFs, for example. I can prompt the student or have certain limits. So for example, how many files and what the maximum file size can be on these students' uploads. And I can provide some notes internally that the assessor will use when reviewing these files, okay? So all these settings are pretty handy, but one of these settings is more important than others. See, right here, I'm being warned that the quiz right now is automatically going to mark the answers to this question. Now, if you have a multiple choice quiz, it's fine if it automatically marks the answers that the student gives, because it's just a standard true or false or a specific answer per a given type question. But for file uploads, we assume that most of the time you'll want to review the submissions that students make manually, okay? So we prompt you to double check the settings of the quiz to make sure that you set it as a manual marking quiz. So if I click on the settings here for the quiz at the top of the block, I get the quiz settings, and I can switch from automatically marking this quiz to now manually mark the quiz. Now, what's going to happen is when the student submits the quiz, instead of immediately getting a prompt that, yes, you've passed or failed the quiz, they will see a message saying that and the facilitator will go in and review their answers, and they'll get notified when the facilitator reviews their submission, okay? Here you can also set up a passing grade as well as the option to allow retakes or not. If you allow retakes, then if you fail them, they'll be able to submit another answer to the same quiz and go through again. You also have here a limit for requiring the quiz to pass in order for them to progress to the next lesson in the course, okay? If I was to click that and save, just to illustrate how that works, I'm going to add in another lesson after the lesson with a quiz. I'm going to call it next steps and conclusion. And just do the bare minimum here. Now, I will save this course with all the lessons that I have so far. And now we'll go through and explore what that looks like as the student is going through that process. So the easiest way for us to do that is actually enroll ourselves into the course. So I'm going to go in and publish this course and enroll. And I'll go through and get myself into the course. And I'll access it. And now when I click to go through the actual course content, I will see the first lesson right here, the second lesson, and there we go. We have the text, the reference attachments, and now the quiz. So what's the fourth letter in the alphabet? It's D. What's the best course management platform? It's Cademy, of course. And there we go. The file upload option. And you give the student, there's a prompt here that they must submit at least one file. And there's an additional prompt here with what kind of files and what the maximum minimum size file that they could submit. Now as a student, I can either click and select files of my device or just drag and drop items into this area. So I'll go in and try and find something that maybe will work. Let me find maybe a PDF or something like that that could be useful. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that here. And this is gonna upload these attachments securely and host them on Cademy service. And these attachments, as well as any other answers I'm doing as I'm doing the quiz, are automatically going to be saved. So if I refresh the page, come back later, everything that I've ticked so far will be automatically saved. Now I can submit them at any point, and if I click to submit, I'll get a prompt here that it'll be reviewed and someone will come back to me. You could see that I can't progress to the next section in the course because it's locked. This is how we've set up the quiz to not allow them to progress to the next section of the course without first finishing the quiz. So what's happening behind the scenes here? Now, the course owner or whoever you're assigned as the facilitator on this course will get an email. They'll get an email and it'll say, hey, someone submitted a quiz, go and view it and mark it. They'll be able to click on that button and it will take them in the Cademy inbox, okay? This is where the button will take them, where all the quiz submissions will come through. I have quite a few options here on the left, but you can add users to Cademy with lower access permissions. So I'm an admin, so I see everything on this account. But if you add someone as a course owner or a facilitator into the system, all they will see is going to be the courses area with the course that they are assigned to, and the inbox with all the questions from students and quizzes on the courses that they are assigned to. So they'll have a very simplified way to handle this. Now, the inbox is a great place to handle all of this stuff because they could quickly respond to or mark the assessments and just close off these items in the inbox so they don't have to worry about them anymore. They just know that they've been handled, okay? We still keep track of them in the system, but they're out of the way and they don't have to kind of think of them anymore. You'll see the quiz submissions not only here, but on the order itself, on the enrollment itself in the course, and I'll show you what that's like. But for now, let's see what we have in this quiz submission. So first of all, I have the quiz response, and it tells me that this is for this course, and this is the lesson within the course that the quiz is hosted in. I see every single answer submitted by the student, and I can manually mark it as correct or incorrect. And for the submission with the attachments, I can see all the files directly in here, and I can click to view those PDFs, as well as download those files to my device. Okay. There's an option here to give feedback to the student, and that's going to be privately shared to this with the student, both in the email and on the submission on the student side within the course. So if I'll say, well done, however, I need more evidence from you. Okay, please upload at least 5 files. So I can fail this quiz. The student will be notified of this, and they will see this message, and they'll see it within the course context as well. So I'm going to actually mark this as failed specifically. If I go into my email, there you go. This is the student's email. So the student will get an email saying your submission has been marked. The quiz response for the name of the lesson, the name of the course, has been marked as failed. Okay, and then there's the feedback that the facilitator has given the student. The student can simply click on that button. It'll take them right back into the quiz, where they'll see that it's failed. They will see the message from the facilitator, and they'll be able to action it. They'll now be able to resubmit the answer because we've enabled resubmissions on the quiz itself. So the student can simply click and upload a bunch more evidence files, and boom, they're all on the quiz, and I can just resubmit that. And someone, again, will be notified that there's a new quiz submission. They'll be able to handle that directly in the inbox. If I go in and refresh my page here, I'll see that there's a new quiz submission, and I see all the files there now, and I can simply mark them as correct. 100 out of 100. Well done. And save. So there you go. Now the student will get an email saying, well done. Within the lesson itself, here, if I go to refresh, the quiz itself will show that it's been successfully passed. So the student will now be able to progress with the rest of the course onto the next section. Okay. So this gives you an idea of the flow that you would have with your learners. And if I look back into the email inbox, the student can always respond to any question. They can message you through the course itself, but they could also respond through here and say, actually, I don't agree with your decision here, right? And I can reply, and this will be forwarded to the facilitator that's been handling this conversation. But it will also show up directly in the Cademy inbox. So you'll be able to always keep track of the back and forth that you're having with their students. Okay. So let's give it a quick second. I'll refresh, and I'll show you one last important thing about how attachments and quizzes work here. So let's go back to this question, and there you go. My reply, the student's reply here to their assessment is showing up, and they're not happy, right? So I'll have their reply directly in the same context, and for the student, they can just reply right out of their email inbox. Everything's being kept track in a single place. When you look at any individual student, you'll be able to see every enrollment they're on, every conversation you're having with them, every quiz submission. And this is what I wanted to mention earlier. When you look at an individual enrollment for a student, or when you look at your course, let's say, and you go through the list of all the students and look through, review everyone, how far they are, you will always be able to see the quiz submissions, and you'll see the historic answers that have been provided by the students. So if you need it for auditing purposes later on, at any point you can open this up, and you'll see exactly when they've opened the lesson, when they've completed it, when they've submitted their quiz, and what they've submitted there. And I could see that these are the 2 files that were submitted initially as part of the quiz, and the feedback that was offered by the facilitator, by the course, the person on the admin side who was assigning and marking these. And for the correct quiz answer, I also see it right in here. Everything's being kept track of in a single place for auditing purposes, and it makes admin so much simpler for you as an organizer, as a course provider. Okay. Now, at this stage, this covers a lot of what we've done with quizzes on the courses so far, but there's a lot more to come in the very near future. We are going to be working on drip feeds and deadlines and a whole new redesigned course builder with more intuitive and user-friendly quizzes for learners. So if you have questions now about how quizzes work, how attachments work, or if you have questions about what's coming next, or if you have feedback or feature requests, now is the time to ask for them. Now, I am going to keep a quick eye. I'm going to take a quick look on the Zoom window as well as all the other chats. So let me pull that up in a quick second. 2 seconds. Let's see. There's no. You can use either the chat or the FAQs to ask questions. 2 seconds. Let me bring up the FAQs question, the FAQs box. Not FAQs, Q&As. Right. So I don't see any questions there, and quickly checking the other places. Okay, no questions. That is absolutely fine. If you're watching the recording later on, and if you have the questions at a later date, just feel free to email me. Absolutely no problem. Always happy to get back to people. Or if you have questions as you're setting things up, as always, use the message us button here. We are known to be very, very responsive on support. So drop us a message. The team will be very happy to help you. Okay. We hope you've enjoyed this stream and this webinar about how to use attachments on quizzes for your own courses. We hope you'll enjoy this update. It comes free. It's available on all the plans. It's available to all the educators using our tools. So go give it a go, and hopefully you'll benefit from this functionality. As always, thank you for using Cademy. Appreciate it. Take care.